Welcome to Too Fond of Books. My name is Janelle, and this is my week 2 wrap-up for March Mystery Madness. I can't believe that it's already almost half over. It's been such a great reading month, and I've had such a good time chatting with you guys in the comments and on Discord and on my live reading sprints. It has really been so much fun. And so in this video, I want to share with you the books that I've read this week and the books that I'm in the middle of. But first, I need to show you the book that I found that fit the prompts for Friday's M&M manuscript matchup. We needed to find a book that was set in a city and had blue on the cover, and so I came up with The Bernini Bust by Iain Pears. This is part of his Art Theft Squad series, but this book isn't set in Rome, which I could have used because Rome is a city, but in this one, Jonathan Argyle, who is a British art dealer who is living in Rome and is a character in all of the books, he goes to Los Angeles. He has just sold a Titian to the Moresby Museum in Los Angeles, and he is waiting for his payment, and then stuff happens. So blue on the cover, set in Los Angeles, totally counts. This is a really great series, by the way. It's a modern day series set in Rome, in the art world, it's so good. Okay, so what did I read this week? For the prompt of time, I read Death in Springtime by Magdalen Nabb. I'd never read anything by her before, but this was really fun. This is set in Florence and was written in the 80s. Yeah, 83. One fun thing is there's a letter to Magdalen from Georges Simenon that he wrote in 1983, and he addresses it, "Dear friend and fellow author, what a pleasure it is to wander with you through the streets of Florence. This is a novel to be savored even more than its two predecessors. It is the first time I have seen the theme of kidnapping treated so simply and so plausibly. Although the cast of characters is large, they are so well etched in a few words that their comings and goings are easily followed." So yeah, this is a book about a police officer in Florence. His name is, he's just referred to as the Marshal. Now, I don't completely understand how the policing system works in Italy, but the main police officer we follow is the Marshal. There is also a captain that we spend a lot of time with. And the main plot of this book is that two girls are kidnapped on the 1st of March. And the 1st of March is notable because it snowed in Florence, and that very rarely happens. And so these two girls are kidnapped, and one is let go. The one that is kept is an American, so of course the American consulate gets involved. And it was just a good, solid police procedural. I quite enjoyed it. I really liked the setting of Florence, and I would read more by this author for sure. And then I read for weather, Bone Cold by Erica Spindler. I was actually in the middle of another book, but I just had this, I wanted to read something really fast paced, and I just wanted something really fast paced, and so I thought I would give this a try. I've never read anything by Erica Spindler, and this actually won the Daphne du Maurier Award for Excellence. I don't know what that award is, but good for this book. It was published in 2001, and it's set in New Orleans, which I loved. I don't read a lot of books that are set in New Orleans, and so I actually really enjoyed that setting. And so the main character is Anna North, and 23 years before this book opens, she had been kidnapped, her pinky was cut off, and then she escaped, but her kidnapper vanished. And so when this story opens, she is a writer. She is trying to get published as a thriller writer. She has changed her name, and she is in hiding because she is terrified that this kidnapper is going to come back for her. And yeah, this was huge. This was over 500 pages, and I read this book in one day. It was exactly what I wanted at the time. It was exactly the kind of fast-paced thriller that I was looking for. She meets a police officer, Quentin Malone, and he was a great character. He comes from a family of police officers and was just kind of a nice guy. So she kind of what propels the plot is that she starts receiving letters from a fan, and then she is followed, her apartment is broken into, and just weird things start happening. And then it just goes from there. So yeah, this one was really fun, really fast-paced, good characters, interesting story. Who is it that's actually following Anna? She's convinced that it's her kidnapper, but of course it could be anybody. And so yeah, I really enjoyed that. So I read that for weather. So this is what my bingo card currently looks like. At halfway through the month, I have 4 of the squares colored in, and so I think I'm doing pretty good. All right, and then I had this book out from the library for one of the videos that I've already posted for my Commonwealth Day video, and it was so cute I had to read it. So I've participated in middle grade March. That was unexpected, but this was just so cute. This is The Mystery of the Missing Lion by Alexander McCall Smith, and this is a story about the young Precious Remotsway, and she's 9 years old in this book, and she goes to visit her auntie at a safari camp, her Auntie Bee, and it was just so cute. It had these great illustrations in it that shows where Botswana is. There's her Auntie Bee. While she's there, there are people, a film crew is there to do a film, and there's a lion who is an actor in the film, and then the lion goes missing, and so Precious and her new friend Kumo try and find the lion, and it was just adorable and all really, really, really cute. And then I read 2 more short stories in my vintage mystery and detective stories. Mammoth, edited by David Stuart Davies. And I read The Ghost of Fountain Lane by Catherine Purkis. That was a reread for me. I had already read it in October, but it was fun to reread it. That one is set in Brighton with Brooke Loveday. She is a detective, a private detective, who is supposed to be on holiday, but she loves what she does, and she got intrigued by an article she saw in the newspaper about people who saw a ghost on Fountain Lane. And so she's looking into that case when an inspector from the police comes to visit her, and his name is, hang on, Inspector Clamp. And he comes to see her to get her help with a case that he has about a missing check. And so that was a fun short story. I quite enjoyed how that all came together. But my favorite was the next story, and that was Who Killed Zebedee by Wilkie Collins. And I loved that. I flew through that. It was 20 pages in here, so that's, you know, a good size short story. And that was fantastic, and I actually wanted to read you the opening of that because I really enjoyed that one. I mean, I love Wilkie Collins anyway, so I knew I would probably like it. A first word for myself. Before the doctor left me one evening, I asked him how much longer I was likely to live. He answered, "It's not easy to say. You may die before I get back to you in the morning, or you may live to the end of the month." I was alive enough on the next morning to think of my needs of my soul, and being a member of the Roman Catholic Church, to send for the priest. The history of my sins, related in confession, included blameworthy neglect of a duty which I owed to the laws of my country. In the priest's opinion, and I agreed with him, I was bound to make public acknowledgement of my fault as an act of penance becoming to a Catholic Englishman. We concluded thereupon to try a division of labor. I related the circumstances, while his reverence took the pen and put the matter into shape. Here follows what came of it. And so this was really good. So we learn about him as a young man. He's a police officer in London, and a frantic woman arrives at the station to say that there has been murder done in the lodging house where she works. This woman is the cook in the house. One of the lodgers has been stabbed, and his frantic, hysterical wife claims to have done it in her sleep. And it was just such a good story. I really, really liked it. Yeah, it was just really, really entertaining. So here is the updated bingo card for my short stories. I have gotten 3 so far. So Who Killed Zebedee counts for person, and The Ghost of Fountain Lane counts for place. So I think I'm doing pretty well in my short story bingo card as well. Then I read a couple of books from the library that I'm not counting toward March Mystery Madness, but are mysteries. A Lady's Guide to Gossip and Murder by Dianne Freeman. This is the second in this series, and I quite enjoy this series. This is really fun. So the main character is the Countess of Harley. She's now widowed, but I guess she's still technically the Countess of Harley. Her name is Frances Wynne. She's an American who came over to England and married a count. And so this is the second in the series. She is now widowed. She has a daughter who is 7, I think, and she lives in London. Her sister has come over from the United States and is out and doing the season and trying to find a husband. And then also her cousin, she's trying to find a spouse for her cousin. So most people are out of the city because it is summer and the city of London empties out in the summer. But there are a few people left, and so she is trying to marry off her cousin as well as her sister. So she's very, very busy. This is set in the very, very late, 1800s, 1899. And so then a woman, a friend of hers, who she had introduced to her cousin as a potential spouse, is found murdered. And so the story goes on from there. And yeah, I quite enjoyed that. I will definitely keep up with this series. It's really entertaining, good mysteries, really good characters, great time period. I can recommend this series by Dianne Freeman. And she calls the series a Countess of Harley mystery series. And then I read The Perplexing Theft of the Jewel in the Crown by Vaseem Khan. This is the second in his Baby Ganesh Agency Investigates series, and I loved this book. I loved it. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I love the way Vaseem Khan writes, and I love the characters. And then the stories, he writes just such interesting stories. So in this second in the series, Inspector Chopra is with his wife Poppy at the new exhibition of the crown jewels. Now, the Queen is planning a visit to Mumbai, and as part of that visit, the crown jewels are on exhibit at this museum. And so, of course, there have been like strict security measures, and an elite force is there to guard the crown jewels. Only 20 people are allowed into the specific room at a time, and of course the jewels are under glass and all of that stuff. And one of the pieces that are there is a crown with the diamond in it. I'm not going to say this right. The Kohinoor diamond, which of course is originally from India and had been gifted to the Queen. And so while Inspector Chopra and his wife are in the room, there's a bit of an explosion, everybody is knocked out, and when he comes to, he discovers that the crown has been stolen. And so, of course, he investigates because he was there. It happened right under his nose. And it was just such a great story. It was really interesting how it played out. But I loved, more than that, I loved getting to know the characters a bit better, and the new characters that were introduced in this book. I really hope they're there in the following book, which I've already put on hold at the library because I just loved it so much. Okay, so then there are a few books that I am in the middle of reading that I'm going to share quickly with you. I am reading Run by Patricia Wentworth. This is one of her standalone books. This was published in 1938, and I am about 50 pages into this. This is really a really fun book, and I will tell you more about it next time when I've finished it. I'm also in the middle of Full Dark House by Christopher Fowler. This is the very first in his Peculiar Crimes Unit series, which I love. And I am also halfway through The Mystery of Mrs. Christie by Marie Benedict. This is a fictionalized version of what she thinks took place during the 11 days when Agatha Christie went missing. And so this is two timelines. You get the timeline in the past when Agatha first meets Archie, her husband, and that time period is told first person past tense, and then you get the present day told in third person in present tense. And so far so good. So I will let you know. Okay, now before I say goodbye, it's time for another round in our M&M manuscript matchup game. So we'll give this bag a good shake. All right, what are we gonna get? Brown. So that is miscellaneous. Exciting. Oh, what miscellaneous one are we gonna get? Blue. And that is animal. Now we've had that before. So you need to find a book that has an animal in it, on the cover, in the title, somehow important to the story, however you want to do it. Okay, and then we also have orange, which is detective. And orange again, which gives us a male detective. Okay, so we need to find a book that has a male detective and something to do with an animal. And I already know the book that I'm going to tell you. So let me know in the comment section down below if you've read any of the books that I've talked about in this video. I would love to chat with you about them. Also, let me know what book you find that has a male detective and something to do with an animal. I would love to know that as well. And I will see you for another video soon. Bye.